This is Into the Fatherverse, episode 1. We're recording January 30th. I'm your host, Trey Stevens, joined by Tim Rose, Kleber Vindes, and Fred Metcalf.
Wave. Oh.
Yeah. Fred's too good to join us on video, but...
Sorry, guys.
He's doing you a favor.
Yeah, he'll be the favorite because you can't see him. This is basically just a podcast, group of dads that like to game, that are nerds, geeks, sit around talking about other things that dads or parents that are busy might enjoy doing or learning about. So I'll start with myself. I've got a little girl. She's about to turn 2, so as the other guys know, it makes you extremely busy. Definitely keeps you on your toes. What about you, Tim?
I've got 3 little girls, 1 teenager, and 2 below that. I'm not gonna go through ages because they're just kind of random ages. Nothing noteworthy, but they're young, older than toddlers.
Yeah, I would say it's surprising you of all people can make, because I have 1 girl, let alone 3.
I would go crazy.
What about you, Clay?
So I have 1 little girl. She is 2 and 1 month, I think. So she's very close to your kid's age.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's quite a handful. Gets easier and harder every day. I don't know how it's possible, but it happens.
I agree with that. And Fred?
Yeah, so I have a daughter. She turns 14 months next week.
Oh, wow.
So the youngest of everyone, but man, it's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. I know none of us would change it for the world, but having little girls on top of that and working full-time, it gets hectic.
We're a few minutes in now. Have we actually mentioned the name of the podcast?
I did as we started.
Yeah, I
did. Okay.
But just to remind everybody, it is Into the Fatherverse. It may or may not be a play on words from another movie, but we'll just go with it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, I don't know.
No idea.
And I will say, we are recording this early in the morning, so this podcast is brought to you by caffeine.
I think Clay's drinking milk over there.
No, I was drinking orange juice, but it's already out.
Time for a refill.
I like how cheerful we are when we're saying, when we were talking about our kids and how old they are. We're like all like, yeah, I have a 2-year-old, man. It's hard.
Dude, it's so exhausting, but it's so much fun at the same time.
Yeah, I totally get it.
You know, we can't let our significant others listen to this podcast. They're going to hear the intro and they're going to be like, you motherfuckers don't do anything.
No doubt.
Well, mine doesn't speak English, so.
There we go. You got lucky. Well, so we did make this podcast mainly as just a reason for us to get together and talk about games and what we've been doing. So we'll get into that now. I mean, has anybody been playing any new games or games they want to talk about? Or movies or shows or books or anything?
Okay, so this week I haven't actually had a lot of time. So all I've been playing is Hades and World of Warcraft, which I play weekly. Like I have played weekly for, I don't know, 10 years, something like that.
Weekly or daily?
Oh, I mean, now that I have a kid, it's like weekly because I don't have time to play WoW every day, but like that's what I've been playing. So you're gonna hit a lot about that because I play it every week. Yeah. And yeah, we raided yesterday. I'm on a late night raiding group because with the kid and all, I don't really have the time. I actually thought I wasn't gonna be able to raid again anymore when my kid was born, and then I found out like in the guild there's a bunch of parents and busy people, so we made this raiding team that raids at midnight, and it's been working really well. And I'm also very, very tired because we raided at midnight yesterday. And I know most of you have, I don't know about Tim, but I know at least Trey and Fred have played Hades. That's just an amazing game.
Yep, I have. I played when it first came out.
How far have you guys actually gotten?
Shut up, Fred. You know how far I've gotten. I have not beat the last boss, and it is irritating the living crap out of me.
And I actually haven't make it to the last boss yet. Like, I get to Theseus, I think it is, which is, I think it's the boss before the last boss. And I've only beaten him like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times. But after that, you go to these, I don't know, these holes you have to complete before going to the last boss. And they, like they added this, I don't know, this poison debuff.
Yeah.
And that, man, like I cannot get over that. Like I start losing health left and right and have never make it to the last boss.
You go, the first time you go in, you're like, oh, this isn't that bad. It's just a couple of rats. And the next thing you know,
Yeah, I mean, not that we're on our Hades talk, but might as well. Yeah, dude, that poison wrecks you. Like, I'm constantly running to the fountain to clear the poison, but then you get it right back.
Yeah,
so that's why I cheese it. Use the gun. It's so easy. You just go in, spam the mortar, it just clears the room.
Yeah, especially if you get the hammer buff that splits your mortar into like 6 bombs. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we actually have segment specifically about Hades today, so we're gonna get there to talk more in depth about that one.
Yeah, definitely. Tim, what have you been up to?
Well, so are we waiting to talk about Hades?
I mean, we can talk about Hades full in depth now if you want. Might as well.
I was just curious. I know we have a whole segment dedicated to it, but I mean, I know it's a lot of companies' actual game of the year, despite The Last of Us 2 winning like the big ones.
Yeah.
Most other places, especially like the player votes, voted for Hades, so everybody kind of expected it to win. And well deserved. I liked it. I played it for a couple days straight, and then I haven't picked it up since then. But I mean, I enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well just keep talking about Hades at this point. I think,
and I love mythology too, so that was easy for me.
Yeah, it was very good. We're gonna try to every week do a recommendation, either on a game, a movie, book, something that busy parents can fill their time with. I think most of us play when our daughters are asleep because it's just easier. But Hades is a good game to play even when they're awake because, 15, 20 minutes for one run. But on top of that, you can pause or quit after each room is cleared, which is extremely nice. It's such a well-rounded game for being a roguelite at this point. Each time you die, the story continues, which really they did such a good job investing in those characters. Even if you die 2 times, back to back, not very long runs, there's still somebody there to interact with some new content to listen to, or well done.
They did a really good job of incorporating the game mechanics into the storyline, which most games don't do it that well. But this one, they did a really good job. Dying in it is actually kind of fun/funny. So I don't get as mad when I die.
Well, yeah, there's been a couple times where I've just stood and stuff, so I did die because I had, darkness I needed to spend, or I got the last key I needed to upgrade the mirror. And they did such a good job to keep you encaptured in it. And I mean, to me, it's probably my game of 2020. It'd definitely be my parents' game of 2020, just because it is so easy and it manages your time so well.
Yeah, was it you, Trey, or was it Clay? One of you guys recommended it to me towards the beginning, right after.
That was me.
Yeah, it was like right after my daughter was born and whatnot, and it was just, this game is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for people that don't know about it, like Hades is a game by this studio called Supergiant Games. They have like their previous games are Bastion, Transistor, and Pyre. Very popular games, very well made. But this one is their first foray into roguelites, right? And they just made an incredible job at it. And the music is great, the animation, the gameplay, everything works perfectly. So in this game, you're the son of Hades, and you're trying to escape Hades, the place, like hell, And every time you die, trying to get out, you come back to the beginning, to the house of Hades, because you cannot die. So what I really like roguelites. I like Binding of Isaac, Enter the Gungeon, stuff like that. And this is the first time I've seen like they take this mechanic and they just mix it so well within the lore, because people react to you coming back because you're a god. You will never die. You're just reborn in the house of Hades, right? So they made it to work perfectly with the lore, with the story, and how people notice you're back, and how sometimes you beat a boss and then you meet them back in the house. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
I like how we're really branching out on episode 1, where we're like, have you guys tried playing Game of the Year? Have you guys heard of this small game that won every award?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Like, you probably never heard about it because it's just the Game of the Year for most.
You got to tune into our podcast to hear about this little tiny game that everybody has played and knows about.
Yeah, I know for a fact, like a bunch of parents and just all around busy people don't have the time to check the news anymore. So
and honestly, when this game came out, it was a real sleeper. Like I have a lot of friends where I was like, "Hey, try playing Hades." They're like, "Oh no, I heard of it, but I didn't try it." I'm like, "Dude, it's like Game of the Year. Like it's really fun."
Yeah, the thing is, it came out as a, how is it called? Like when they are not finished.
Oh, it's in beta, early
access for like a year. So that didn't help for the overall hype when it came out.
Well, and the reason why I bring it up here is, yes, it is basically Game of the Year. But number 2 is it is so time friendly and good for parents. You know, we can go on and on about how it's good, but again, as we've said, it did get Game of the Year. It's just, being able to quit after clearing just a single room, and then when you start the game back up, you're at that room. It, for me, is perfect. If my daughter wakes up and I gotta quit, man, I don't want to lose this whole run. No, it saves it, as well as, hey, if they're playing, you've got 15 minutes, you can probably do a full run.
And it's really easy to come back to, too. Like, that's important to me, especially like RPGs. Like, I play a lot of the Elder Scrolls, and it's very typical for me to play a game, take a break, come back, and then go, well, I have no idea where the hell I am. I'm starting over. So, like, I don't know who I'm talking to. I don't know what quest I'm on. I guess I'm starting a whole new character. I've probably got about, 15 characters going in all of Elder Scrolls, because but with this game, you just pick it up, and it's like, oh, yeah, I know what I'm doing. I know what level I am. I got my goals, and so that's important to me.
And every single run's different, too, depending on what weapon you pick. So you are almost starting over just by picking a different weapon.
I do like the fact that it's satisfying progression, because even though, every time you die, you have to start all the way over from, the first room, but it doesn't feel, I don't know, like Diablo is kind of a good example where that game, every time you start over, like I hated it because it was just too much of a grind. But with Hades, at least, which I understand Hades and Diablo are not the same, but they're both dungeon crawlers. But like, I don't know, like the level system, using your darkness to upgrade the mirror and the weapons, and it makes the progression a lot more fun.
Yeah, because even if you die mid-run, like you're getting something out of it. It's not, you didn't lose that time you spent. Like you can use the darkness you got and get stronger.
Yeah.
That's something that is actually missing. Not to bring WoW again, but that's something that's missing from Torghast, which is the roguelike element they added to World of Warcraft. What happens there is if you die to the last boss, for example, you get nothing out of the run, so people get mad about it. But in games like Hades, if you die, you can still get something out of it. Like you still get darkness in this case. That helps you improve and be stronger for the next run. So you don't feel like you were losing your time, just wasting your time.
Yeah, we barely have time as is to play games. The last thing I want to do is waste it.
Right. That's exactly what it comes down to. Well, so as we said, that was our suggestion of the week. It happened to be Hades. Let's go back to what we've been doing. Tim, have you been doing or playing anything besides Hades?
Mostly I try to stick to games where I can play it put it away, and nothing changes. So I do play a little bit of like Fortnite, Warzone stuff, Halo stuff. I can do a round or two and then leave it and come back. But as far as like what I've been like playing, I usually play Animal Crossing New Horizons because I can play that with my kids. So that's actually really important to me. They're all three into gaming. Because I kind of forced it on them. I said, "You're either a gamer or get out of the house." So
I think that's the plan for all of us.
So like my oldest is really into Fortnite. That's why I play it, because she's a teenager, so that's kind of her thing. So that's kind of our bonding time. As I say, I'll be in the basement and you be in the opposite side of the room. I don't even want to see you. Just turn on your mic only when I tell you to, and we're gonna play a video game. So that's my parenting level 101.
Now, do you take the approach of like, do you team play and like co-op with them, or do you go the other side and you just like fucking destroy them every game?
No, no, we do team things, and I'm trying to teach them how to like play as a team, which has been a really big learning experience. Like in Call of Duty or even Fortnite, where they're like, "There's gunfire, let's run over there." It's like, no, there's gunfire because two people are already fighting. You don't run in there.
I'm getting flashbacks to my dad teaching me how to drive.
Or they're also gunfire.
I mean, might as well.
But Animal Crossing is what we usually play when we're all in the same room, and you can have up to 4 people playing at one time, so that's the bonus for that. Plus, I like life simulator games, so
yeah.
We play the crap out of Animal Crossing. Well, at least my girlfriend does, because it is super child friendly.
Mm-hmm.
But biggest complaint there, and why I don't get onto it much, you can't do anything. Like, you can do so much, and then they were just like, we're gonna like put all of this stuff that you could potentially do in the game, but you actually can't use any of it.
Yeah, that's been my biggest complaint, is every single item is non-interactable.
So, Fred, did you just call your girlfriend a child?
Yeah, I was going to leave that alone.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
My wife likes to play it because it's kid-friendly. So.
Yeah, I was like, hopefully she doesn't listen to this.
Like, even her. It's like, even her. Like,
I'm going to have a visit from, like, the feds after this. No, my daughter, she loves to watch it.
Yeah.
So, like, that's kind of, it's actually the cutest thing. Like, she will want to watch it, so she'll walk over and grab the Switch controller and then walk up to her mother, my girlfriend, and just start beating her with the controller until she's like, okay, I'll put on Animal Crossing.
I wish my daughter did that.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's really important too, and probably a theme, at least with my suggestions, is like, with me having 3 different kids, plus my wife does like to come in here every now and then. I'm in a studio, by the way, and I have to play games that are at least semi-kid friendly, because like I can't pull up Witcher, I can't pull up Cyberpunk, I can't, all these games I have to play at night. So like I eventually got used to playing games that my kids can just walk in on me and I'm not having a gratuitous sex scene or something. So.
Which, back to Hades,
or playing video games.
I was gonna say Hades is somewhat child friendly. Like it's highly animated, so like the limited gore that's in it, which is not much, is very, 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 I don't know.
Cartoony?
Yeah, it's very cartoony. So like, it's not like Battlefield where it's super vulgar and very realistic, or Quentin Tarantino movie. It's very cartoony. So like, it's not bad. Language is fine. There's not really any language issues. No worse than what's in you'd see on a PG-13 movie, in my opinion. No. So. Obviously, parents' discretion, but I don't feel bad playing that around my kid.
Yeah. Back on that, so Fred, besides Hades and Animal Crossing, have you been playing anything or doing anything?
I've been playing the absolute crap out of Smite. I am huge into mythology, so I've played Smite since it was beta back in like 2013, 2012, somewhere around there. And Season 8 hit this past week, so I've been no-lifing Smite. It's a MOBA for those of you who have never heard of it, but it's kind of like saying like, oh, you've never heard of Smite, this great MOBA, but it's also gotten multiple awards, so pretty sure everyone knows what that is. But it's super time friendly. You can do the standard game mode, which does take like 30 to 45 minutes. That one's not as nice, but it has like 7 different game modes, and those all last about 10 minutes, 10 to 15, depending on how good or bad you guys are. So I thoroughly enjoy that game. Tim, if you haven't played it, you should, because you said you like mythology.
Yeah, I have it downloaded and I've never launched it. It actually came to my attention when the Ninja Turtles were an option. So.
Yeah, this was the last. Well, okay, so they had skins for them.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say you didn't actually have like them as characters, but the season 7, that was the big thing. Was the they partnered with Nickelodeon, so they got skins for like Avatar, The Last Airbender, and then they did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which was really cool.
But yeah, I have been. I mean, I've looked into it, and I do have it downloaded, especially since it's free to play in most cases. But much like almost all my PC games, I download them with the intention of eventually getting to them, and then life happens, and I never ever get to them. So.
Feel that. I really like it because like it is completely free to play if you want to do it. It does have a pay to play option, but it's not like EA loot box style. You could pay. I think it's anywhere between $10 and $30. I say that because it's almost always on sale somewhere. You can almost always find a discount code. But the full game costs $30, and that unlocks every god that they currently have and every god that they will have. And for people like me who paid $30 back in 2013 when they had like 25 gods, they're currently sitting at like 100 and something now. So it was well worth it.
That's a lot of gods.
I mean, there's a ton of pantheons. They started with the original, the common original. Someone's gonna get mad about that one. The common, Greek, Roman,
Egyptian.
Yeah, Greek, Roman, Egyptian pantheons, and a couple others, and now they've expanded it where they're doing Norse, they're doing Hindu, they're doing. They also have like demigods. They've done mythology. Like obviously it's all mythical, but like King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table. They've started incorporating those. They're basically just going to touch on everything, so it's really nice.
That is really neat.
And if you're a huge mythology freak like I am, they partnered with I can't remember who it is or like what their name is, but they did partner with someone who's basically a certified expert in the field of mythology. So all the characters have like really good backstory. Well, I mean, their backstories are already made, but the characters flow well. Like their skills, their abilities, what they can do flow really well with the character, like the god or goddess's story. So it's really nice, and you can actually learn a lot about mythology from it.
That is really neat.
I've probably bored everyone half to death by now.
Yeah,
it's
I've got coffee.
Cool. Oh, I actually downloaded it for the Switch a few days ago because Fred recommended it to me. And it looks like shit on the Switch.
Yeah, don't do that. Do not get it on the Switch.
Yeah, it looks awful, but I still got enjoyment out of it. Like, it's very well made. It's easy to learn. And
it's super cross compatible. So if you have, you can play it on the Switch and play against me on the PC. You're going to lose every time, but all the different platforms can play together.
I'm gonna try to fight that, but yeah, probably kick my ass. And I don't really play MOBAs. I have never played League of Legends or anything like that. And this one caught my eye because it's third person, so it doesn't really feel like a MOBA. Like it's not asymmetric.
Yeah, fuck League of Legends and Dota. I know I just probably pissed off everyone out there.
I just don't like that. I don't know that like that asymmetric look from top down. And I don't know, this one doesn't really feel like that. It feels more like an action game.
Yeah, no, I feel like we've derailed this entire podcast, and now this is a Get Hades and Smite podcast. But one of my favorite things about Smite and why I've played it for so long, I mean, I've literally played it since beta. It's entirely skill-based, and I don't say that to mean that you need to be really good, because it's got a phenomenal matchmaking system. So if you're, a potato of a player, you will be grouped with other potatoes, so it's not bad. But it's, if you've ever played League of Legends, you click on someone, you do a skill, it's going to hit them. There's no dodging and whatnot. But with Smite, it's all skill based. So if you you're going to use Ra and use his massive sunbeam cannon to try and snipe someone through a wall, and you've got the game sense to know it's coming, you can actually jump over it. You can sidestep it. You know, you can do really cool things in the game, and that's just not something most MOBAs have.
And another thing about Xena Warrior Princess is it's just going to be the Greek mythology podcast from now on.
Welcome to the mythology podcast. Yeah.
Trey is just glazed over. He's like, man, this is boring.
No, I'm good, man.
He already looks asleep. So,
hey, I got up early. I guess last person's me. Besides Hades and World of Warcraft, which I'll give a shout out to our guild over there. It's the Last Dynasty on the Thrall Horde server. If anybody plays WoW. But besides that, I started a game yesterday called Spiritfarer. I'm enjoying the hell out of it, but haven't played enough of it to really touch on it that much. I mean, you play as a girl who I get the sense has died and is helping spirits move on. Like, you know, she's, I don't even really know how to explain it. She's basically Charon. So it's pretty interesting. I want to play more of it before I really push it. Other than that, just Transformers. I mean, anybody want to listen to my Transformers talk?
No.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, you know, just saying, it's a good show.
I know something we could talk about. WandaVision. I heard everybody's a fan of it in this chat. So
I hate you all.
I haven't seen the newest episode. I don't know. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
For me, the newest episode has brought the show back to a positive rating for me. So
when you say the news, you're talking about the 4th episode, right?
I haven't seen the 3rd one either, but.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you're 2 weeks behind then.
Yeah, but the first 2 were really good. I love sitcoms, and they nailed that sitcom feel.
So here's my issue with WandaVision.
No issue.
Let me just bring out my list here. No. Is that okay? So Marvel, for the most part, is kind of family friendly.
Yeah.
And so my kids and I, we decided we're gonna get together on Fridays and watch WandaVision during supper or whatever. But the problem is like the first episode is Dick Van Dyke, second episode is Bewitched, third I think is like the Brady Bunch, something like that. It's like they don't get that reference. They don't appreciate that.
The show is
no
not
idea
kid friendly at all. It is,
and that too,
people friendly.
Yeah, and they make a lot of sexual comments and stuff, which is above their head. Like they don't get it anyway. So it's not like terrible, but like I don't know. Like we went into this thinking this is gonna be a family thing, and like they're making a whole bunch of comments. I'm like, okay, they don't get the references, they don't get the jokes, so they really have no reason to watch this. Well, but unfortunately, like most Marvel material, you have to watch it to get the next thing. So.
Yeah, you didn't want your kids to learn that. You know, you just do magic to get pregnant?
Well, that didn't bother me, but there was a few jokes I can't think off the top of my head where they were making like sexual jokes. And I'm like, wow, that's kind of weird for Vision, who's a robot, to be making, but that's fine.
Right.
I just need him to explain some things, you know, him being a robot and boom, pregnant. And it's
my kids did mention, how is she pregnant if he's a robot? And so I wanted to be like, well, you know, honey, he produces and then when I didn't
you had to talk right then and there.
When
a robot
love each other, yeah.
So yeah, like
they did raise the question, but they didn't care.
I mean, but like I think that's kind of the draw of it. Like, makes you think, is that really Vision? Because like spoilers, Vision is supposed to be dead, right? Mm-hmm. Like spoilers for Infinity War. So it like brings up the question of what's going on.
Yeah, and it is a very slow burn too, and my kids don't appreciate that. I can appreciate that. Yeah. It's like the first 2 episodes, nothing happens. So it's all good humor, it's all good parody, but for my kids, it's nothing. So
it's if you like that kind of stuff. I personally hate it. I am so bored out of my mind trying to sit through it because, you know, my girlfriend, she's been watching it and thoroughly enjoys it. Well, she's starting to enjoy it more, but I think it's because, you know, I didn't enjoy watching that kind of stuff growing up. So the, you know, 60s, 70s, and, you know, because it's progressing through the eras, those types of sitcoms, I don't like them. Like, it's just not funny. Mm-hmm. It's so dry and boring to me. So, like, I applaud you guys for watching it, but no, that's torture for me.
So yeah, I actually growing up, I didn't watch any of those because those are really old, and my parents didn't really watch that, and so and it's not something that would interest me. But in this specific case, like I know it's a weird, outdated sense of humor, but the fact that there's like kind of a creepy undertone to it, and like something really weird is going on in the background, like that's what keeps me interested in the show and what's going on next. I think it definitely would have benefited from just releasing every episode at once.
Yeah,
because like if you go like I know what I was getting myself into because I watched trailers and shit, so I know what I kind of know what it's about, and I know that they're gonna do this whole sitcom spiel. But if you don't know that and you just go watch that, you're gonna be really confused. So I think maybe if they made it so you can just binge watch it, like that would probably help a lot. I've heard, like I was watching this reviewer yesterday reviewing the episodes, and he said like critics actually got the first 3 episodes instead of the first 2, and that's because I've only watched till the 3rd episode, and because in the 3rd episode like is when the background plot line, like what's going on, like it kind of starts creeping into the forefront of the show. So maybe if they at least just put out the first 3 episodes at once, maybe would have been better received, because I know it's very divisive. But I quite like it, even though I'm not really getting all these references. But like I know it's supposed to be a silly parody of an old show, but this creepy undertone and this mystery of what's really going on in the background is what's keeping me interested.
Yeah, this show definitely suffered from releasing 30-minute episodes weekly. If anything, should have been an hour long, if nothing else, all at once. Because the 4th episode, I was honestly, I wrote this show off. By the 3rd episode, I'm like, this is not for me. I didn't realize that when they were parodying the other shows that they were going to exclusively have the humor of that era too.
Yeah.
And a lot of the jokes in the show do not hit. They don't hit with me, and they especially don't hit with my family. So, because they don't get it at all. But the 4th episode, I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, brought this show back up to a very positive rating for me, because it does make you appreciate the first 3 episodes more. But in my opinion, if you have to get to the 4th episode to be like, oh, this show's pretty good, like you've missed the mark.
So,
because we're on 2 hours, right? 2 hours to watch.
Well,
like, I guess this other hour and a half is actually pretty good.
But a kid-friendly show that really pulls you in on episode 1, Transformers. Just Transformers.
Nope. Just.
And on season 3 of Hercules' Legendary Journey,
The Transformers died in the 80s. Just let it stay there.
Listen, Transformers Prime is pretty good, okay?
Okay.
And that was like 2000, sometime in 2000s.
It's 2021. Let it go.
Yeah, just like 20 years ago.
Hey, you know what? Netflix is releasing some Transformer stuff that just came out last year, and it was fantastic. Mind you, it was only like 4 episodes, but still.
I've skimmed the newer stuff. I don't think it's too bad.
Dude, the War for Cybertron is actually extremely good. Netflix is doing real well. All joking aside, now that we got that out of the way, we're going to try to once a week or once every podcast, whether we do this every week or not. Again, we have kids, full-time jobs. We're going to try to do either tech talk or, as cheesy as it is, a recipe that's easy and fun for the family. This week, Fred is going to go over some good baby monitors or baby monitor suggestions, because let's be honest, most dads are pretty anal about security stuff, and baby monitors are nice to have, especially if you have, a house, that's relatively a decent size. Being able to keep track of your kids while you're sleeping or they're sleeping is always nice.
Yeah, so I'm going to preface this that I do digital forensics in my day job, so I am the most paranoid person you will probably ever meet when it comes to security and cyber and all that stuff. So I researched the crap out of all of these baby monitors before we decided, just because, I was paranoid. I wanted something good. It's literally the only way to, see what's happening in her room while she's asleep without walking in there, and we all know you never wake a baby. So yeah, I have we use 2 baby monitors, and I know it sounds like overkill, but one of them excels in one area and the other one excels in another, so together it's a little perfect little combo for us. So the first one I'm going to start with is Arlo. Arlo is kind of it's a bougier one, I won't lie. It's a little expensive in terms of cameras, but the Arlo Baby, which Arlo is made by like Netgear, so they're not terrible. The equipment is actually phenomenal, and I'll get to some cons in a little bit. But the pros of it, the Arlo Baby is, it's a smart baby monitor, so it's got a 1080p HD camera. It's got the ability to play music. It's a 2-way voice, so you can talk through it. I don't recommend it until they get used to it because it'll scare the crap out of a little one. Personal experience there. It's got a super good night vision. It's got a rechargeable battery. It's got built-in air sensors, so if it's too hot, too cold, if the humidity's bad. It also has another sensor to pick up biological material in the air, and it just basically lets you know that, like, hey, the air quality is not that great. Honestly, the only time I've ever used it is I'll get an alert saying that the air quality is not that good, and that usually means the kid has had an absolute blowout in the sleep. I'm not even joking. Like, she has completely like ripped ass so loud that the microphone picked it up, recorded it, and then it triggered the air quality sensor. Okay, so that's another thing. It's completely customizable, so it glows. It's got different colors, so it's got a built-in little night light you can set up. It does play music. You can pick songs. It does have the ability to, record your own stuff or upload your own music to it. You can set it up to just record constantly. It's got audio triggers, motion triggers, and it's a really nice to have. It hooks up to your Wi-Fi, and then you can download the Arlo app, and that was the biggest reason we got it. Is I used to travel a lot for work pre-pandemic, and it was just really nice that I could be anywhere in the world, open up my app as long as I had internet access, and I could pull up the baby monitor and see what's going on in her room, and I guess just be a little creepy dad. But it's really nice, and if you have other Arlo devices, because they do an entire home security system, it's all in the app, so you can sit there and monitor your baby, and you can also look at the cameras that you might have outside of the house, and that's really nice. The cons to that is, one, it's expensive. I think they start at like $300 for it. So a little pricey, but if you're super paranoid like me, it's kind of worth it. It's super secure. I meant to mention that. It is made by Netgear, so it's actually like really secure. You don't really have to worry about a horror story of someone hacking into it. That doesn't really happen with these. But some of the downsides, the app itself, the hardware works perfectly fine. I have no complaints, never had any complaints with the actual hardware itself. It's the app. Every once in a while, you'll go to load the app, and 99% of the time, it's instant. No problem, pops right up. But there's, every once in a while, you'll go to load it, and it'll just sit there spinning, connecting. And it's the most infuriating thing ever, because with a baby monitor, that's the last thing you want, is to have to wait. So that's why we supplemented. Oh, and the other thing, it's on your phone. It doesn't have like a built-in little tablet that you can carry around. It's on your phone. So if you want to have an open feed going all night long, you need to leave your phone going or buy another tablet or something and let it run, which is why we also bought the Infant Optics DXR8. Infant Optics is like world renowned for their baby monitors. These are a lot more reasonably priced. It's at $165.
I have that one.
Yes.
That same model.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Their customer support is amazing. It is a video and audio monitor. It's not Wi-Fi. It uses high fidelity Bluetooth. So it's got good range. My house is pretty large, about 3,000 square feet, and we've never had connection issues with it. So highly recommended if you've got a small house, large house. It works really, really well.
Yeah, you seem to have a small house, so it should work in most people's.
Yeah. But you know, it's really good. We like it. The picture quality is absolute garbage. It's only like 320p. It's really bad, but it's got a really good microphone. And it does have decent night vision, but the main reason we use it is that it is always running. Unlike the Arlo, where we have to open it up. The Arlo does do push notifications, but if you aren't paying attention, your phone's on silent, you'll miss it. With this one, you know, it's a traditional baby monitor. It's running 24/7. So when she wakes up and starts to cry, that's how we know. Like we hear it through that one. So yeah, I highly recommend the Infant Optics DXR8. They use about $160, somewhere around there, but you can find them for cheaper. I think we actually got ours off Amazon for like $90 on sale.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, and their customer support is amazing. If you have any issues, they understand. They want to be known as like the baby monitor company, so they're super nice. All the reviews that I've ever seen is just like, hey, my camera's broke, and they're like, all right, cool, we'll just send you a brand new one. And it's like, oh, neat. Cool.
Now, which baby monitor would you recommend for playing Hades on?
Man, if you could set that up, that'd be awesome.
Picture in picture. I'm watching the baby, honey.
I mean, you could set that up with the Arlo. I'm willing to bet this thing's nice.
That's pretty funny.
But yeah, no, those are what I use. I'm glad to know that Clay here uses the
so
optics.
My house is small enough that I don't feel like I need a Wi-Fi based one. And I was also very concerned about Wi-Fi baby monitors horror stories.
Yeah.
So I wanted something that didn't actually connect to the internet. So, and since I'm always here, like I don't usually travel a lot. That's perfect for me. And I know like we can just use it when we're watching a movie or something, and she's on her room, and we don't have to be like preoccupied about someone hacking into it or something like that.
Yeah.
For the record, since it's hopefully we'll have a wide audience eventually. If you're listening to this and you're thinking about getting a Wi-Fi enabled baby monitor, or you have one, to prevent yourself from getting hacked, change the frickin' default password. Just do it. That's where like 95% of all the horror stories come from. Just change the default password and you'll be good to go.
I mean, that's probably a pretty good rule for most anything you buy. Just change the password.
And as a rule of thumb, don't name it or your password after the last name of your family. I mean, I see that all the time where it's like, what's your password? Oh, it's Rose in 1986. Oh, it's your name and your birthday. That no one's going to guess that.
Perfect.
No.
Most common password combination. Not the most common password, because I think the most common password is password. Mm-hmm. But the most common password combination is a name, underscore, and year.
Yep.
That's pretty funny. Well, that all being said,
that's pretty funny. People breaking into your house security. That's pretty funny. Your kids in danger. Anyway, let's move back to Hades.
Yeah, I've heard some stories. Fred will definitely be our go-to tech guy. He's extremely knowledgeable and with what he does for a living. And Clay, I don't know if you guys can tell with his hat, actually owns a video game store. Checkpoint.
Yeah, right? Checkpoint video game. It's in Costa Rica. I'm Costa Rican. I'm still here. Like I'm not in the U.S. or anything. So no. I'm sure you knew something was up when you heard my accent, and that's what's going on here. And I do have a video game retailer here, so it's kind
of. It will
of
be coming to the U.S. soon. Take my word for it.
Maybe. So and yeah, I also have like access to a different kind of gamer demographic. So sometimes I think I can add I don't know, different perspective on stuff because of that. Because like people here, I don't know, they have their video game consuming preferences are a bit different.
Yeah, for sure. That being said, it'd be cool to have people send in emails, you know, if you want Fred's opinion on tech stuff or our opinions on games, shows, movies, comics, books. It helped definitely start conversations. So if anybody's interested, send an email at intothefatherverse@gmail.com, and we'll try to read maybe one or two of them every podcast, you know, touch on some questions. Again, anything, recipes, whatever you guys want. It's a podcast of dads talking about geeky stuff and busy lives. This is really an excuse for the four of us to get together and talk. And hopefully, like Fred said, we expand our audience enough that you guys will be more involved, you know, with emails or Facebook. Check out our Facebook page, Into the Fatherverse. Same with our YouTube page, where this will be going up, Into the Fatherverse. And maybe eventually, if the audience expands enough and people want us to do Twitch, we'll, you know, that's always an option as well. But
and
for now,
if we seem like we're not very energetic, it's because Trey made us wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
No.
I literally, my wife woke me up and was like, weren't you supposed to do a podcast, something like that? So I came running, like put on a hat and came running into the room. So I'm still.
And I thought it was really weird when Trey messaged everybody, no caffeine. Like, that's a new rule for the podcast,
Yeah.
No caffeine.
No caffeine for you guys, but I drank 2 cups of coffee.
Or like when he showed up at my door banging on it saying, wake up, it's time for the podcast. Like, you guys got that too,
yeah,
right?
It was a bit weird, yes. Like when he actually took my my blanket away from me, I was here. I was like, what are you doing here, man? It was kind of intrusive, but it worked.
But you guys, I like that kind of wake up call.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. Fred didn't have pants on, but
Who wears pants?
Yeah, the weird part is that he wasn't wearing pants. Not that you were in his bedroom taking his covers off.
Like, that's usual Trey.
I mean,
That's
I wasn't
Saturday
wearing pants
morning with
either,
Trey.
so. I think we will try to do this every week. Maybe we'll just every week go an hour earlier. Just why not? This week we'll start at 8. Next week let's start at 7. Week after let's start at 6. You got that right, Fred?
We'll kill you.
No, we'll try to do it every week. We don't know when we'll record. We may try to at least get the upload the same day.
And with there being 4 of us, the odds of us always being available.
Oh yeah.
And this being a father podcast, it's pretty slim. So
yeah. Or if somebody gets up in the middle of the podcast.
Yeah. On that note, I actually won't be able to make it next week. So I hope you all can, because otherwise it would be a very awkward podcast with just 2 people.
It'll just be Tim and Trey just staring at each other.
Yeah. We've done it.
I mean, yeah, they've done it. Check out Nerd Outbreak on Facebook.
Yeah, for sure. I know Tim posts a lot on Nerd Outbreak. We will probably be sharing that stuff on our Facebook page. We'll see exactly how that goes. But
it's been on a major hiatus, so we can definitely use the content.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff we can get into behind the scenes, but definitely check into Nerd Outbreak. Check out our page, and unless you guys have anything else, I think that's the end.
I don't have nothing to plug yet. Someday, maybe.
Maybe.
One day.
Yeah, I appreciate how the end of this podcast was you guys just plugging my Facebook page.
Yeah. I mean, like, there was nothing better to plug. Guess you could like my store page, but it's all in Spanish and we don't ship like the US, so I don't really see the point. Like, if you want to see the Spanish gaming memes, you can go there.
Well, all right, guys, have a good one. We'll see you next week.